Just ahead on CTV News, the Democratic National Convention kicks off today. We see which Maryland Democrats will be in Chicago. Plus,
did you know that the Capitol Beltway is several decades old? I'm Katara Jones. I'll tell you how old coming up on CTV News.
Coming up, we'll tell you about a bookstore in Laurel that is looking to give back to the community.
These stories and more on CTV News starting now.
Good evening. This is CTV News for Monday, August 19th. I'm Mariah Jalad. Thanks for joining us. The Democratic National Convention kicks off today in Chicago, and Maryland Dems will be front and center. Prince George's County Executive and Senate hopeful Angela Alsobrooks is expected to speak along with Governor Wes Moore. The party has been excited to back their new nominee, Vice President Kamala Harris, who will formally accept her nomination at the end of the convention this week. And as Alsobrooks campaigns to become the third black woman ever elected to the U.S. Senate, her race has high stakes for the party, as it could decide who has control of the Senate in 2025. And a man is in custody after a shooting in Temple Hills yesterday. 18-year-old Isaiah Matthews is accused of murdering 43-year-old Antonio Bell of Oxon Hill. Police arrived at the 3300 block of Huntley Square Drive at 3 p.m. Once on the scene, they found Bell suffering from gunshot wounds in the parking lot, where he later died. Matthews fled the scene and police located him late last night. A second man was found with a gunshot wound and non-life-threatening injuries. Matthews is being charged with first and second degree murder and being held on a no bond status. And another fatal shooting took place in Lanham yesterday. Officers arrived at the 7700 block of Finns Lane around 10 o'clock last night. On the scene, they found 38-year-old Camille Ahmed of New Carrollton suffering from trauma. He was later pronounced dead. A reward of up to $25,000 is being offered for anyone with information on this case. You're asked to call 301-516-2512. And to get anywhere in the Washington metro region, you most likely need to hop on the Capitol Beltway. The major interstate highway just recently celebrated its 60th anniversary. CTV's Katara Jones is standing by with more on the history of the Beltway.
We all recognize where I'm at, and if you guessed the Capitol Beltway, well, you are correct. But did you know that the Capitol Beltway is officially 60 years old? It was on August 17th of 1964 where the final piece of the Capitol Beltway opened to drivers. A fun fact of Maryland history is that it was Maryland Governor J. Millard Towse who cut the ribbon opening up the highway near New Hampshire Avenue interchange. Now, the goal of the interstate highway was to give cars an easy way to get around without having to drive directly through downtown D.C. Reports indicate that the Beltway opened up in 3 segments. The first part opened in 1957 in Montgomery County, which was Maryland 355, Wisconsin Avenue, and Connecticut Avenue. The second part opened in 1961 at Interstate 95, Shirley Highway, and US 50, Arlington Boulevard in Virginia. The third part of the Beltway opened up in 1964 between Route 355 in Montgomery County and Route 4, Pennsylvania Avenue in Prince George's. Since the Capitol Beltway first opened, it has expanded and is now about 64 miles long and connects D.C. to the suburbs of Maryland and Virginia. And for us Prince Georgians, we all know that if you want to get to somewhere in D.C. or really anywhere here in the state of Maryland, your maps on your phone will most likely direct you to take the Capitol Beltway. Katara Jones, CTV News.
Thanks, Katara. And another fun fact, the original name of the Capitol Beltway, it was called the Washington Circumferential Highway. And state officials are calling all hands on deck to combat the high rates of roadway deaths. The state of Maryland exceeded 600 driving fatalities in 2023 and is on pace to exceed 550 this year. Maryland Motor Vehicle Administrator Chrissy Nizer is calling for increased enforcement and public awareness to combat the speeding and distracted and impaired driving that is leading to the high number of deaths. A state law in June doubled the fine for speeding in highway work zones to $80, and another increase is scheduled to take effect in January. And police need your help in finding a missing child. Take a look at your screen. This is 12-year-old Gianni Fortune. He was last seen in the 3700 block of Donald Drive in District Heights this past Saturday. Gianni is 5'2" and weighs approximately 105 pounds. He was last seen wearing light blue jean shorts, a white t-shirt with red and blue writing. He was last seen in a blue 2022 Mitsubishi Mirage with Maryland tag 7EX7134. Anyone with information is asked to call missing persons at 301-772-8970. And you're watching CTV News. I'm Mariah Gilad. Still to come, a Black-owned medical center is suing the University of Maryland for an unfair bidding process. I'll have that story when we return.
We hear the stories of people forced to abandon their home. The stories of people whose dreams have been swept away, or their lives left hanging by a thread. Or whose worlds have been blasted apart. Although the stories repeat themselves, each person's experience is unique as they are. And whether it's care or community that people need, we're here to help them live a new chapter, to embrace what makes them unique, be a lifeline to the most vulnerable.
Out! Out! Everybody out! Come on!
Good job. Under 2 minutes.
Keep your loved ones safe from home fires. Practice a 2-minute drill until it's part of your routine. And test your smoke alarms monthly.
In America, millions of families are facing hunger. After rent and power, I can get groceries. It's sad to say food comes last. Anna from Texas. The Feeding America network of food banks helps provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year. Together, we can end hunger. Learn more at feedingamerica.org.
Welcome back. The National Animal Advocacy Organization reports more than 8,000 cats and dogs were euthanized in Maryland last year. Despite the alarming number of animals being euthanized, according to Best Friends Animal Society, Maryland does an above-average job at saving homeless animals when compared to other states. Most of the deaths in the state were reported by Prince George's County, followed by Charles County and Baltimore City. Limited space and resources are both contributing factors to the number of animals being killed in shelters. And we have Maryland's July jobs report, which shows the state added more than 6,000 jobs last month. The industries with the strongest growth were cybersecurity, life sciences, and transportation. Maryland's total employment grew at double the national rate in July, and unemployment still sits at 2.8%, one of the lowest in the country. The sector that contributed most to Maryland's job growth was administrative support and waste management and remediation services, which added 1,800 jobs. And Governor Wes Moore was one of the many speakers at the 2024 Maryland Association of Counties Conference in Ocean City. The governor also attended numerous events at the conference. In his address, Moore touted his accomplishments and warned of difficult budget decisions ahead. And without offering specifics, he called for refining the education plan known as Blueprint for Maryland's Future. Moving forward, Moore said his administration will put data at the center of the budget process.
I'm requiring state agencies to cite evidence when proposing new budget investments. That way we can consider what we know works when making a decision about every single state dollar that goes out. The things that work will get funded, the things that don't, won't, and there will be data behind each and every decision. I also recognize that the data-driven mindset of this administration is going to force very hard conversations. Conversations that will last over the next 12 months about how our state operating budget will perform.
The conference included a tech expo, Taste of Maryland reception, and all-you-can-eat Crab Fest. A Black-owned radiology practice in Laurel is suing the University of Maryland medical system for allegedly violating equal protection and discrimination laws. In the suit, Capital Radiology claims UMMS entered a no-bid agreement with a Los Angeles-based radiology company to provide outpatient service on the Laurel Medical Campus. The lawsuit argues UMMS knew this would have negative effects on Capital Radiology, located just 50 yards away, and the suit claims the medical system excluded Capital Radiology because it was Black and female-owned and would have succeeded in a fair bidding process. And still to come on CTV News, a local bookstore is making a difference in the community, one page at a time. I'll have that story and more after the break.
The doctor said I only had a 29% chance to find you. But I knew you were out there. Every night, even when my heart was sad, I wished for you to sign up. I got so sick that I couldn't go to school, but I still made people laugh. But when we matched, it was the best day ever. Dear donor, your blood stem cells saved me from leukemia. Thank you forever and ever and ever. Sincerely, Owen.
Experience the true joy of saving a life at nmdp.org.
Maryland-based Purdue Foods has recalled 167,000 pounds of frozen chicken nuggets and tenders. This after some customers report finding metal wire embedded in the products. The recall covers 3 products: Purdue breaded chicken tenders, Butcher Box organic chicken breast nuggets, and Purdue Simply Smart Organics breaded chicken breast nuggets. All 3 products have a best if used by date of March 23, 2025, and the code P33944 on the back of the package. Consumers who have the recalled product are urged to throw it away or return it to its place of purchase. And we're just 7 days away from the start of school for Prince George's County students, so back-to-school shopping is well underway. According to the National Retail Federation, this year's back-to-school spending is expected to be the second highest figure on record. CTV News spoke to shoppers at Target to see how much people are spending to prep for the school year ahead.
I've probably spent at least, including clothes?
Yeah, all of it.
Ooh, maybe $2,000. We've purchased notebooks, school paper, pencils, of course. Right now I'm looking for a backpack. Just found out that his school is requiring clear backpacks.
Prince George's County students return back to school for the 2024-2025 school year on August 26th. And the National Council on Aging launches an interactive benefit participation map. The data indicates that nearly 9 million people aged 65 and up are eligible for but not enrolled in programs that can help them pay for food, health care, and other daily costs. State participation rates varied from 17 to 82%. Maryland currently has a 34.1% participation rate in SNAP benefits, whereas nationally only 30% of eligible adults are enrolled. Maryland also has a participation rate of 42.7% for Social Security payments, whereas nationally, that number is 49%. We're heading to a local bookstore with a heartwarming twist. This isn't just any bookstore. It's one that's making a big impact on our community's children. Our Michaela Newton reports from Laurel.
Every week. Yeah, I love books and I love the deals. There's great deals here and great selection of books.
Nestled in the heart of North Laurel is a new gym that's lighting up the community, Books for Life. This vibrant bookstore opened just this April by dynamic husband and wife duo David and Laura Jing. Is much more than a place to pick up your next read.
We see a lot of books go to the wayside. You know, sometimes you drive around and you see books like just laid out in the curb, you know, ready for trash collection. And we wanted to save that. We wanted to make sure that the books go back to, go to people that want them.
I think it's important to have access to all kinds of information, and I feel like I want to meet the needs and the desires of every single demographic that comes in.
Books for Life has a bunch of different books from different genres, and their inventory is 100% donated by their customers. Now, they have a very important mission to give back to the community.
Books for Life isn't just about selling books. Their entire inventory is made possible by generous donations from the community. From children's literature to educational resources, their shelves are stocked thanks to local support.
Every quarter, we'll take our proceeds, and a certain percentage of our proceeds would then go back to the community. Okay, we know that currently it's back to school season, right? So a lot of teachers kind of struggle in terms of getting supplies and what they need. So we are going to be donating $1,000, okay, spread up between 5 teachers.
And with every purchase, customers are helping fund these incredible initiatives, making a direct impact on the community. Loyal patrons rave about the store's unique trade-in program and the opportunity to share their love of reading with others.
I've been reading books ever since I was a little kid, and that's carried on into my adulthood. They have a really good program where you can trade in books and get credits for it to use to get other books or just hold on. It's a good.
It's clear that Books for Life is more than just a bookstore. It's a beacon of hope and support for the community. As the owner of the store puts it, children are our future. And this store is helping to build that future one book at a time.
They are basically they're the ones that's going to make the change that we want, right? So we need to empower them as much as possible.
Thanks, Michaela. And Books for Life is open Monday through Sunday. And still to come on CTV News, Simon Buggs is here with our Monday sports page. Simon, what's in the playbook today?
Well, Mariah, we got some great football news in store for today. What's up, everybody? Hope you had a good weekend. Don't move, because coming up in sports, Wise High School football coach Steve Rapp reveals how he thinks his team can add another championship banner to their collection. That story and more coming right up.
I am an athlete. I am an educator.
I'm an EMT, a neurologist, a veteran,
a business owner.
I'm a mom.
We are survivors.
Cardiovascular disease is the #1 killer of women and doesn't discriminate.
It can affect any woman at any age or stage.
Yet many women don't know it's our greatest health threat.
Encourage 3 women you love to learn more about their risk factors and how they can take charge of their health today.
Having low income can mean making tough choices. Choosing between paying for food or medication or a place to live is a reality for many people. Do you know someone who could use some extra help? Find out about the Supplemental Security Income Program, SSI. You could receive monthly SSI payments if your income and financial resources are low and you are 65 or older, or an adult or child with a disability or who is blind. SSI is money you can use to help pay for basic needs, like putting food on the table, keeping the lights on, paying the rent. It can mean new shoes for growing feet or help with medical needs. Call 1-800-772-1213 or visit ssa.gov/SSI to schedule an appointment or start to apply today. That's ssa.gov/SSI. Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
Hey there, sports fans. It's time for your Monday Sports Page. We begin with some NFL news as the Washington Commanders took the field this past Saturday for their second preseason game against the Miami Dolphins. And unfortunately, they fell to 0-2 in the preseason as the offense struggled to put up points, losing 13-6. Now, the preseason is a time where teams can work out the kinks on offense, defense, and special teams. And even though Washington didn't come away with the victory, after the game, head coach Dan Quinn spoke, and he does believe the team improved.
We came down here to say, could we go get better? You know, we had two opportunities to come do that at the practice and at the game. And I think we absolutely did that. It's not going to show that, you know, on the win column today, but you do learn and you get better in these moments. And knowing that as the games come down to the end, there's value in that. And so I love the guys, how tough they are, how hard they played for one another. And like I said, the end was an absolute blast just to be on the sideline and putting guys in different spots who hadn't been there. And, you know, Chig inside the nickel, Whiteside at safety, and McCaffrey back punt returning, just all the things that you wanted to see guys in their most competitive element.
Washington will take the field next against the New England Patriots for their final preseason game on Sunday. Meanwhile, another season of football for Wise High School is approaching, and all eyes will be on the team as they'll be looking to repeat as state champs and capture the school's 7th title in history. Now, going back-to-back won't be easy for the Pumas as there are so many talented teams in Maryland that can give them a run for their money. And head coach Steve Rapp touched on what he feels like the team needs to do in order to have another great season.
First off, nothing that happened last year matters today, right? Just like nothing that happened yesterday matters today. Like, it's just, that's a foregone conclusion, if that makes sense. And I think that the deal is we focus on ourselves, right? Run our race with blinders on and figure out how to get a little better every day. And that's the process, man. I'm going to hold the guys to a super high standard, academically, athletically, and I think usually that allows, when you're good academically, right, and then elite athletically, it usually allows you to play in December. So that's the goal of where to be.
And sticking with high school football, coaches can not only affect a player on the field, but they can also have an impact on them off of it as well. And that's certainly the case with Deron Thomas, the head coach of the Largo High School football team. I was able to catch up with one of his players, and he told me how much of a positive influence Coach Thomas has been on his life.
First, I can say he made me a better young man, able to help me acknowledge when I was wrong in certain aspects, and taught me how to actually speak in front of people and stop being shy. The ways he made me a better player is showing me like different stuff I can use in game, showing me how to use my hands and more footwork, and being mentally locked in the game and not worrying about what's going on around me, and actually able to talk to me in between games, in between reps, and showing me how to do stuff correctly.
The Lions will open up the season on the road against Severna Park on August 30th. Moving on to the WNBA, the Washington Mystics fell to the Minnesota Lynx over the weekend, 99-83. The next opponent will be the Seattle Storm tomorrow at 7 o'clock. And the Baltimore Orioles came out on top against the Boston Red Sox yesterday, beating them 4-2. The Birds went 2-2 in their series against Boston, and their next series will be against the New York Mets beginning tonight at 7:10. And that wraps up your Monday Sports Page.
Thank you, Simon. So what teams do you think have a chance to be a threat to the reigning champs, Wise High School?
That's a great question, Michaela. Well, first I want to start with Largo. I think they have a shot this year. When I went to their practice last week, Coach Thomas, he was really intense and he was real adamant about improving this season. Last year they went 5-4, and when I was talking to him, he made a great point about how they underachieved last year, and he really wants to make sure that that they do better this season. So that, combined with the amount of talent they have on the team, I definitely think they can be a threat to Wise.
All right, I'll definitely be tuning in this
Absolutely,
season.
Should be a great season.
Now let's get a look at our 3-day weather forecast tonight. Showers are expected around 11 p.m. Looks like the summer heat is cooling down. Tomorrow it's going to be nice and sunny. We're looking at a high of 77. Wednesday will also be nice out. We're looking at a high of 76 and low of 57. Thursday it's giving clear skies. Expect a high of 80 degrees. And that wraps up CTV News for now. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again tomorrow. Good night.
Good night.